Hello everyone, don't you just love getting a giant box in the mail? I just received my Guardians of Evil 4-pack from Gamestop. Unfortunately, this is what it looks like when you open. It's another one of these cases where they took a whole bunch of bubbles, put it in there, and then just put the product right on top. Flipping it around, you can see it's a beautiful Force set. This is supposed to be kind of an evolution set linking the Senate Guard, which is what we're starting with, all the way to the Patorean Guard. The Senate Guard, although it comes earlier in terms of chronology, is really just based on the classic Royal Guard, and they've continued that tradition by giving him a full glorious robe to kind of extend around his body. They're using the exact same body armor that we had with the Royal Guard, and this time it's just been painted blue. They do come with the small blasters. They're actually tucked into the side, and they have a wonderful little rubber band around it, which is, I wish they had given that with the single card Royal Guard figures. Here's a look at the helmet. This is also called the Spartan helmet because of the crest. You can see they did a nice job. They could have hollowed out the front of it just a little bit more. His gun fits very nicely on his shoulder, and you know, this is one of those sets where you really need two of them, just kind of standing off and on the side there with maybe the Emperor in the foreground. One of my legs had a little bit of a leg glitch there where you couldn't bend the knee, but the gun fits nicely into the trigger finger. As I mentioned before, this is just really based on the Royal Guard figure, and that's actually the Royal Guard from the single card pack, not the one from the set. Here we'll do a nice comparison between the two. They're mostly the exact same figure, but I did notice one kind of cool little difference, and we'll have a look at that here in a second. But again, looking at the body armor, it's exactly the same as the one that came in the single box. But here's kind of a fun fact. If you look really, really close, and I could be wrong about this, but I believe that they gave us a new helmet for the Emperor's Guard. If you look, the slit in the new one, which is in the foreground there, is actually just a tiny bit wider than the one we got in the box. And again, if I'm totally wrong on this, I apologize, but you can even see it a little bit there with the one on the left in comparison to the one on the right, flanking the Emperor, of course. And here we have a comparison of the first two standing next to Vader, right where they need to be. Vader's just a little bit taller than everyone else, so there you go. And here's the figure that I think most of us are looking forward to, including myself, and that is the legendary Emperor Shadow Guard that we once got in a 3 3/4 figure. Here's a close-up of his helmet, and if you look really, really close, there's just a little bit of a red paint that they added to the visor, very, very similar to the 3 3/4 figure. Once again, we have just the standard body armor that we had with the other Royal Guard figures, but of course now we have it in black. But here's the really cool part, and this is the thing everybody loves, is this lightsaber staff that he comes with. And they did an absolutely wonderful, glorious job sculpting this. You can see it works very well in both of his hands. The lightsaber blade actually comes off, and I was very happy about that because it popped off, and I actually thought I had broken it at first. But again, it just comes right off, and you can attach it or have it unattached. And here he is as a comparison next to the Vader figure, and it is, of course, like Vader and one of the Royal Guard had a baby. Here's the final figure, and this is the new one. This is the Patorean Guard. And I'll have to admit, I was most looking forward to this figure, but I'm actually a little bit disappointed by it. The helmet that comes with this one is different than the one that comes in the single figure box. This is the one that looks a little bit closer to the Bosch helmet that Princess Leia wore. He comes with the blade that splits in half and is also a staff, and you can see the connection joint right there. But this is the really unfortunate thing about these figures is the armor is so thick on the arms that there is absolutely no elbow joint, and they just kind of have this stiff arm appearance. They did a wonderful job on the legs, giving us a rotation and a wonderful knee bend joint, but again, as I mentioned, we have a definite stiff arm situation. Here he is in comparison to the Royal Guard Invader, and he's just a little bit tinier than that. But overall, I would say a wonderful set to have, and I highly recommend that you get one.